Grossman, is he around?
Yeah, we're getting him on the phone now.
We're getting him on the phone now. Great.
We got another call coming in from Argentina.
Yeah.
Liberty and Prosperity?
Another one.
From Liberty and Prosperity. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
exactly right.
He's got to have Argentina all straightened out by now. 2-3 weeks of Seth in Argentina. My gosh, no wonder they got a conservative president down there now.
Listen, he's a walking encyclopedia,
and he's a true patriot.
Yeah, libertyandprosperity.com. So I don't know why he's down there for such a long period of time. He must be
Better
applying
him
for
than
a job.
me.
Maybe he's going to be on the air like he is in South Jersey, Peter.
I like it at home in the bunker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got my little gas heater on. I got the dog. Boy, traveling is such a it's so cumbersome today, isn't it? You got to go down there, this and that. When I look at it that way, Al-Qaeda won with what they put us through to go through the airport.
No, that's
Al-Qaeda won that battle.
And you know what's funny, Peter? It's not easy to get help when you're checking in. It used to be a simple system. You got in line, and bingo, you were on the plane. Now you have to go to a computer. You have to figure this out by yourself. Frankly, I almost missed the flight when we went
Remember I
to
warned you about that? Because
did.
I'm down there, right? And we're seniors now. Now, we're capable seniors, right?
Yeah,
we still break 80 when we want to. And
You,
the
not
lady
me.
would not help me. She
Yes.
would not show me.
Right.
There's some kind of
too.
app that you have to have on your phone to leave the country. I didn't know anything about this.
Yeah.
It's, it really creates a lot of anxiety. So that's why I don't like traveling, but sometimes we have to.
Seth Grossman on the air, personality all over South Jersey, in Argentina. When are you ever coming home, my friend?
Well, God willing, I'm coming back tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
But it was really special to be in Argentina for Thanksgiving for a number of reasons. Because, Thanksgiving was always a big deal for my family,
Yes.
who came from Russia in the early 1900s. And they would always say that we're so lucky to be in America. And it has a special meaning being in Argentina because my grandparents at one time wanted to come to Argentina instead of America. You had this horrible massacre of Jews, which they called in Russia a pogrom, which is, it means destruction, but mostly against the Jews, where they'd have these riots and just beat up and kill as many Jews as they could. And the police would be ordered to stand by and do nothing while it happened. And that happened in Kishinev in a place called Moldavia, which was part of Russia at the time. And my grandparents knew they had to get out.
Wow.
And their plan was to come to Argentina because that was the land of opportunity. There was land available. There were charities helping Jews go there. And there was actually better opportunity in Argentina than America. But at the last minute, President Teddy Roosevelt publicly denounced the Tsar of Russia for allowing the persecution of the Jews.
Wow.
And my great-grandmother, according to our family story, said, a country with a president like that who protects the Jews, I don't care how much money we can make in Argentina, we're coming to America. And so our family came to America. And every Thanksgiving we would celebrate, and our grandparents would keep telling us the story of what brought us to America, and we were so thankful to be here.
Yep. Listen, Seth, I'm up against the break. I want you to stay with us. Can you give me a little bit more time?
Sure. I'd love to tell you, the differences between Argentina and America, where Argentina could have been America, America could have been Argentina, and by pure chance or by grace of God, America became something special. And I'd like to share that with you after the break.
We have a 2.5-minute break. Don't you go anywhere. You are listening to The Dawn Show. Barry Sable sitting in for Dawn. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
Hey, it's Greg with Kayla Company. Cap off the NFL week with a chance to win on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. New customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Did you hear me right? $150 on your first $5 bet. For Monday Night Football, you can do these same-game parlays. You can combine an anytime touchdown, the over rushing yards, the over passing yards, whatever you want. Player props, it's all right there. You can combine them all together for one same-game parlay. Plunk down $5 and you can win $150 in bonus bets. It's super easy. Just go to FanDuel.com/Greg. Don't forget that /Greg. FanDuel.com/Greg to make every moment more this season. FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. WPHT 21 and over. Present NPA. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Got a shopping list a mile long but need to charge your EV? No problem. Now you can fill up your cart and your battery at the same time. With a convenient network of Shell recharge stations at some of your favorite shopping spots, you can get everything done in one trip. Shop for groceries, clothes, and more while your EV charges up. And never miss a beat. Shell Recharge. Download the Shell app today to find the nearest Shell Recharge location. For more information on locations and how Shell measures reliability, visit shell.us/Shell Recharge.
Dawn Stensland here. There's no greater time of the year to give back than the holiday season. That's why my friends from Piazza Premium Automobiles are partnering with the Salvation Army for the Piazza Toy Drive once again. Visit any of the Pennsylvania or Delaware Piazza Premium showrooms through December 16th. Donate a new unwrapped toy. Your support will make the holidays a little brighter for a local child. Find the dealership nearest you online, PiazzaPremiumAutos.com. Thank you and happy holidays.
Hey, this is Jimmy Fallon in the house, and dig this, folks. This is not a drill. It's the real thing. You can now join me weeknights from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT or anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
Yes, indeedy, we are back. You are listening to The Dawn Show. Barry Sable and friends sitting in for Dawn, hoping Dawn is having a great day. Seth Grossman, you are still with me, I hope. Go ahead, Seth. I interrupted you. Please continue.
Yes, I am. So when you say Argentina, a lot of people think, well, Latin America. They think of Mexico or Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic. But really, Argentina, it looks and feels like you're in New York City or Philadelphia in the 1940s. Subways are clean, the streets are clean, you have the bright lights, and it's just like you're living in America, except people are speaking Spanish with an Italian accent. And so it's a country that back 100 years ago, it was actually richer than America, and my grandparents were about to go there.
Yeah.
But Argentina today, when in just 20 years ago, the Argentine peso had the value of $1. And they actually used the dollar sign for the local currency here. But it now takes 1,000 Argentine pesos to make $1. So you'll go to lunch, and the menu says lunch is $15,000, dinner $30,000, because you need 1,000 pesos for $1. That, again, just 20 years ago was worth as much as $1.
So you live in large down there, huh?
Yeah, well, it does, because you have a rubber band filled with bills, and after one lunch, you're broke. You have empty pockets. You have to go. You get more money.
When are you moving down there, Seth?
It works that way.
I'm sure you can get a radio show down there.
No, but here's the interesting thing. So what made the difference? And I thought about that. How lucky my grandparents were that at the last minute they came to America instead of Argentina. And a couple of things. Argentina was founded by Spain at the time of the Inquisition, whereas the United States was founded by, we make fun of the Pilgrims and the Quakers, but they established religious freedom that made it possible for everybody to feel comfortable in this country.
Wow.
But I'd say the biggest difference that made America luckier is we had George Washington. Because when Argentina won its independence from Spain, they also fought a war for independence, and they had great leaders. They had great generals. And after the war was over, those generals stayed in power. And so you had this culture of when there's a problem in the country in Argentina, they look for strong dictators to fix everything. We had George Washington who quit at the end of the war. Then they made him president. Then he quit after being president. And he said, you don't need a strong leader. You need your freedom, the liberty, a constitution to protect you. And that culture that George Washington established, it made our country different. We were just so lucky that we had him instead of any of the great leaders you had in Argentina. But yet when we have our holiday, all you hear people say is, well, George Washington had slaves, he had wooden false teeth, whatever. So we really have to be proud of ourselves. And no better way to be prouder to be lucky enough to live in America. That happened yesterday on Thanksgiving when I was down here thinking about what a great country I come from.
There you go. Seth Grossman, thanks for calling in from Argentina.
Safe travels, Seth.
Yeah, safe travels. Get here safely, and we will talk
Thank
to
you
you
so
when
much.
you get back. Of course. Beth Sawyer, former New Jersey Assemblywoman. Woman, I should say, not women. Woman in 3 districts. But, Beth, let me tell you, you carry a big stick as far as I'm concerned. You have your own army. So if I said women, I wouldn't be wrong. How are you, my friend?
No, I'm good. I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving.
Good morning, Beth.
Yes, you know Peter.
Good morning. Hi, Peter.
Hey, Beth, I know you're doing a lot of work down in North Carolina, and I have your flyer here I'm going to put up in front of the Facebook camera. Is this streaming now, Larry? Are we okay with that? So I'm putting Beth's flyer up here, how we can donate to the 55 families. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So I went to the J.D. Vance Town Hall at Liberty Hill at the Union League, and they had Moms for America was the sponsor. And one of the first moms that spoke was a woman by the name of Donica Hudson. She's a published author. She wrote Pray America Great. She's a phenomenal woman. She was talking about the mass destruction that North Carolina suffered. And, we saw a lot of things online, but until you actually speak to people that are boots on the ground, seeing what was happening, I could not believe the stories that she was sharing, the devastation, FEMA neglect, how they were being weaponized against the residents of North Carolina. It absolutely broke my heart. Donica and I built a beautiful friendship, and I called her and said, how can we make North Carolina know that they're not forgotten? How can we help these families that have been permanently displaced? She told me about 52 families living in a hotel right there in Banner Elk, North Carolina. Most of them have been permanently displaced. They're living there with their kids and their pets. So we got on the phone with the general manager, Shannon, and she told us that this would be a great way for us to bring some light for this Christmas holiday season. We are in the process of raising money, and we're doing this through – Donica is also a minister. She has a nonprofit called IHP Global Ministries, and that stands for In His Presence Global Ministries, is a registered 501c3. You can go on to her website, and it's www.donica, and that's Monica with a D, D as in David, DONICA, Hudson, HUDSON.com/hurricane. Our goal is to raise over $100,000 so that we can purchase gift certificates for the 52 misplaced or displaced families in that hotel, and they can go online. People need to understand that a lot of the stores have been devastated along with people's homes. So this allows them to go online, and they can purchase whatever they want, whether it's for their pets, it's for their children, it's for their spouses, because they need so much, and they are so grateful that we are showing love and light all over the country. We want them to know that they're not forgotten, that we are uniting as a country to help these families have the best possible Christmas they
Beth,
can.
As a follow-up question, FEMA is skipping the Trump houses that have the signs for Trump or any political
that was unbelievable, Peter.
notification. The beauty of the work you're doing is Democrats, Republicans, people that don't vote, people that do vote, whoever needs the help is going to get it.
And here's what I'm going to ask everybody that's listening. If you are a Republican and you're proud that Donald Trump is our president-elect, I couldn't be more proud. We're asking you to donate $47 in honor of our 47th president-elect. And, of course, if you can donate more, every dollar is going to make a difference. Yep. It also is tax exempt up to the extent of permitted by law, so there could be a tax exemption there for you. But Donica's right there. She was further up the mountain. She only suffered a little bit of destruction. She goes down, she visits the families, and are so happy that we are doing this for them. And I just want to send a message that they are not forgotten. What FEMA has done to these families is unforgivable. They were only offering them $750, and you had to qualify for the $750, where some people are only getting half of that if they got any. And then if you read the fine print, they're obligated to pay this money back. So when you see what's happening in this country with the southern border, just people pouring into our country, being put up in hotels, being fed, being given gift cards that they can go out and purchase whatever they want. And these are U.S. citizens. These are people that are taxpayers, most of them their entire adult lives, that have been permanently displaced. I can't even imagine what they just went through for Thanksgiving, living in a hotel room with their pets, with their children, and basically whatever has been given to them through donations is all that they have. So I'm asking everyone that's listening, it doesn't matter if it's $1 or if it's 10,000, it will make a huge difference. Your message will be heard, and let's bring the light to these beautiful families.
Listen, Beth Sawyer, before I leave you go, you have the same type of heart that our friend Steve DiOrio has. Tell our listeners how they could reach you on Cruisin' 92.1. When are you on the air? And nobody in South Jersey knows more about politics than you. Will we see one day Beth Sawyer running for office in South Jersey?
You will. I'll be running again for re-election for my assembly seat next year. Hopefully Jack Ciattarelli will be at the top of the ticket in the general election. We're looking forward to flipping New Jersey red. We see how close President Trump came to almost flipping New Jersey, and I truly believe that Jack Ciattarelli is our answer to a Republican president. I am on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and if there's a 5th Saturday from 5 to 6 on WVLT 92.1 FM. And then along with my dear friend Steve DiOrio, he's on every Saturday from 9 to 11.
Yeah, and they're two great shows, Beth. They're two great shows. Listen, I know we're a little tight on time. I wanted to ask you a political question. There's rumors on the street that Jeff Van Drew is thinking about running in that Republican primary for governor. I think that would be not a good idea. But what are your feelings on that?
I think if Jeff Van Drew, Congressman Van Drew, is a very good personal friend of mine, if he decides to run, I think what he brings is he brings the support of President Trump. I think he brings the support of the RNC. All eyes will be on New Jersey to make sure that we have a Republican governor. And, you know, if Jeff decides to do that, I think that as Republicans, we should sit down and say, who's the best candidate to get us across the finish line in November, because this is such an important election. We see what Democrats are doing to our state. It's become one of the most unaffordable states in the country. Our seniors and veterans are suffering every day. I was with our good friend Steve DiOrio yesterday, helping deliver meals to seniors and veterans. People are suffering. We need relief, and by having a governor, a Republican governor, is the only way we're going to start bringing affordability back to this state.
Beth, proud to call
said.
you. Yep, absolutely. Proud to call Beth Sawyer my friend, has a big heart. Listen, if Barry Sable and friends could do anything to be of help to the people in North Carolina, keep us in the loop. Do not forget us. Happy belated. Thank you for calling in today, Beth.
Happy Thanksgiving to you both, too. Have a great day.
Beth.
Listen, Peter, we're up against the break. You are listening to The Dawn Show. Barry Sable and friends sitting in for Dawn. We will be coming back with a special guest, Harrison Fields. Thanks for waiting on us, being there, Harrison. We'll see you in a minute.
Than ever need our help. I'm Ernie Russell, Board President of the Catholic Charities Appeal of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. Through the annual appeal, nearly 1 million people in our community receive help through shelters, soup kitchens, schools for special education, and so much more. Please donate today. Your gift matters.
Please donate at CatholicCharitiesAppeal.org. That's CatholicCharitiesAppeal.org.
Thanksgiving is a time to surround ourselves with loved ones and give thanks for the blessings that are bestowed upon us. As Thanksgiving kicks off the holiday season, crash-proof consumers can enjoy celebrating with family without any financial worry.
Elsie White, and I've been with Crash Proof since 2018. We are very, very thankful, especially at this time of year with Thanksgiving. We are so thankful that we can be reassured that our money is secure and that Crash Proof is really really looking out for us.
Terry Robinson, Westchester, Pennsylvania. Being Thanksgiving week, I want to extend a real thanks to Crash Proof Retirement. We've earned money. We haven't lost any of our assets. We're very grateful.
Anthony Torelli, Clifton Heights, Pennsylvania. This Thanksgiving, I'm thankful that I made the move to Crash Proof Retirement. We got double-digit returns. We're not going to lose anything. We can continue on this pathway to success with Crash Proof Retirement.
Happy Thanksgiving from all of us here at Crash Proof Retirement.
The Legacy Box Black Friday event starts now. Radio listeners can enjoy reliving their meaningful memories for an insane 65% off.
Legacy Box is the best gift for you or a family member. And during our Black Friday event, there's never been a better time to preserve your past. Legacy Box start at only $27, with savings of over $400 when you digitize your whole collection.
Legacy Box is simple and safe. We digitize everything by hand here in the USA. You'll get your originals back, plus digital copies that protect your tapes, film reels, and photos from floods, mold, even the decay of time.
Make the holidays special and shop our best deal of the year. Visit LegacyBox.com to shop our Black Friday event and take an unreal 65% off. With limited quantities ready to ship, this deal will go fast.
The Legacy Box Black Friday event starts now. Buy your Legacy Box today and send in when you're ready. That's LegacyBox.com/value to take 65% off. LegacyBox.com/value.
What a Crock is celebrating Black Friday in a big way. Hey, Dawn Stensland. WhatACrock.com's delicious, easy to prepare meals make it so simple. All I do, I put one of their meals into my slow cooker in the morning, go about my day. When I come home, dinner is simmering. Unlike most meal kit companies, there is zero prep required at all. And cleanup is quick and easy. It's as simple as dropping that meal into your slow cooker and voila, dinner is handled. No subscription or commitment required to order, so you just order what you want when you want it. What a Crock meals also make for excellent gifts for everybody on your list. People recovering from surgery or illness, maybe new parents, college kids, anybody who could really use help in the kitchen. Check out What a Crock's huge Black Friday deals. Every meal on the menu is on sale, up to 60% off everything. Get $25 in What a Crock cash to use for yourself for every $50 you spend on gift cards. Receive a $15 gift card with a purchase of any gift box and more. WhatACrock.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hey, Warminster. We know your favorite station is WPHT.
Tell your smart speaker to play 1210 WPHT.
Yes, indeedy, we are back. Barry, Sable, and friends sitting in for Dawn. Peter, you asked me, when can I have Harrison Fields back? I surprised you.
Uncle Barry, that's Mr. Fields to you.
Yes. My guest on the line has a sparkling resume. He previously worked with Pam Bondi, and we know all about her, Peter, Byron Donalds, and the former president, Donald J. Trump, who is now going to be the president again. He was in the White House during that White House premiere. He is currently the assistant director for media and public relations at Heritage Foundation in the popular city of Washington, D.C. He is a new father who therefore gets a little sleep, and I'm guessing is quite proficient at changing diapers. Hope you had a nice holiday. Harrison Fields, good morning, my friend.
Good morning. We had a great holiday. Baby is sleeping now, so I got time to work. No diaper changing right now, which is great. So it's good to be back.
Harrison, this is Peter Mimo. I wanted to personally thank you for your efforts in this campaign. I know you worked on the campaign, and this was a tremendous victory all across the board. You guys never took your head up. You never looked at the polls. You kept your head down. You kept your nose to the grindstone, and you got the job done. And I think that merits a shout-out and a sincere thank you from people like me.
Well, thank you, Peter. I played a small role, but one thing, like you said, you do keep your head down. But it's easy to keep your head down and focus on things when you're actually leaving Washington, D.C. and going and speaking to the people. I mean, I was from Latrobe, Pennsylvania, to Lancaster, to Waukesha, Atlanta, Georgia. We were all over the place, and you really get a feel for how the election was shaping up when you left these elitist bubbles and actually got to speak to the people. So it wasn't so much of a shock to me, although cautiously optimistic. I really felt like the ground, the people that flooded to the polls were really on our side for many weeks leading up to the election. So I do appreciate the shout out, but you all played an important role as well. So it was a team effort, no doubt about it.
Yeah, we love being on the air, and we love getting the message across. And I have to tell you the truth, Harrison. I know you're in Washington and you're busy, but on the last Sunday mornings over the last month, we really have preached how grateful we are to the American public that they rose to the occasion. I mean, all walks of life decided that we need change, and eminently we saw that. So I have to ask you, there was an article on The Hill by a gentleman named John White, and he writes the following. Trump was not hired to gut the Justice Department, abolish the FBI, pardon the January 6 rioters, weaken our intelligence agencies, eliminate the Department of Education, or go wild on health. Harrison Field says what to that?
He's been living under a rock. That's what I say.
Of course.
I mean, even if you watch liberal CNN or MSNBC, they literally told you what he was going to do, and they try to gaslight it as this like apocalyptic situation in which the American people should fear. But instead of fearing it, they said, no, this all sounds pretty good to me. We're going to reelect this man for 4 more years, despite negative headline after negative headline. So this John White guy, he needs to wake up and smell the coffee, as my mom used to say, and realize that the American people, a vast majority of them, have spoken, and this is exactly what they want. And to speak largely on this point, it was refreshing because, like you said, I do live up in Northern Virginia, in the D.C. area, and you feel like you're a unicorn up here, especially as a minority conservative. You feel even more like a unicorn. Right. But it was nice to know that the neighbor next door could have easily been a Trump supporter as well, just because of the resounding level of the victory. It goes to show you that America truly is MAGA.
Yeah, God bless you for that. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Heritage Foundation. Now, you were on pre-election, and we made a specific point not to mention it because of all the bad press and all the media propaganda that was out there. But, you know, the Heritage Foundation, from my perspective, has put out a conservative kind of wish list since the 80s for every presidential election. You really got some bad press for no reason, and it seemed to me it was just like all propaganda. So why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the good work that we do at the Heritage Foundation and the conservative values that you guys project?
Yes, I'm going to just give the boilerplate language. I am here in my unofficial capacity as a private citizen, not in my heritage capacity. But you can't deny the fact that I work there. Just look me up on LinkedIn. Yep. But speaking more largely about it, you're right. It was a gaslighting campaign to deceive the American people of what is conservative policy, longstanding conservative policy. I mean, if you look at many of the chapters of the mandate for leadership, which was truly what they were going after, which was the policy situation, not so much the staffing and preparing the next conservative administration part. The policy is longstanding conservative policy for a long time. And if you look at the people that wrote many chapters of the book, you have Dr. Ben Carson, you have Tom Homan, you have Russ Vought, all these people who are playing massive roles in, you know, the former administration and now the future administration. So if you read the book and take the opportunity to read it, I joked when I started at Heritage, I got the book and I said, wow, if I ever ran for office, I'm just going to give my staff the book and say, put it on the website.
Yeah,
because,
exactly.
You know, it's all solid policy, you know. There's differences of opinion, but the beautiful thing about it is that the book was never intended to be you have to implement every single of the 922 pages. It was a take it or leave it, take a little here, leave a little there, go a little softer here, go a little harder here. It was really a blending of the minds when it comes to conservative movement. And it's obviously a threat to the left because the conservative movement as a whole is a threat to their operation. So they try to gaslight it. It didn't work. The American people that actually read about what was the mandate for leadership, AKA, I guess you can say Project 2025, I think a lot of people realized that it wasn't as crazy as the media made it seem, and they weren't wavered. I mean, at the end of the day, they were focused on Agenda 47, which is what's most important, which is Donald Trump's actual positions.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the media should be ashamed of themselves for portraying Heritage and that foundation in that light, because you guys, they're consistent. They do the same thing every itch where conservative values flourish, and that's what you're going to find there. I mean, it's not a new thing. You know, it's been around a long time.
Listen,
We've been
Harrison.
around a long time.
Go
Yep.
ahead. Listen, I want to switch gears with you. I know that you work with Pam Bondi. Out of the people that Trump has picked for positions, have you had any personal interaction or professional with any of them in the past?
You know, it's funny. I was joking with my family around Thanksgiving. I said, it's weird as a 29-year-old that I know half of the future cabinet.
There you
coming
go.
from a family of
Well, tell
blue-collar
us
people
some.
who.
We want to know the underground secrets. Come on, give us some scoop, pal.
Well, Scott Turner, who is the nominee for HUD, he's an amazing guy, a Christian conservative, former NFL player, but he also served in the Trump administration doing a lot of the economic revitalization, really going into communities that are often overlooked, many communities of color. He did a really amazing job bringing capital and opportunity back to these neighborhoods. An amazing guy. It's no shocking news that Elise Stefanik, I've interacted with her multiple times when I was a staffer on Capitol Hill. Amazing woman, very, very strong, is going to do wonders at the UN. Pete Hegseth, I've never met him personally, but I know a lot of people that know him. A lot of the American people almost feel like they know him because they know him from TV. Incredible person. If you look at the health picks from RFK Jr. to the nominee for NIH.
Yeah, Bhattacharya. He's great.
Yeah.
Amazing guys.
Amazing
And these are
people, Harrison. Amazing
incredible.
people.
And the polls are showing that the American people are all behind these picks. And lastly, I'm not going to forget Senator Rubio. Senator Rubio, his worst thing on his resume is that he went to the University of Florida, not Florida State. But
he's a Gator, not a Seminole.
Listen,
he's a Gator, not a Seminole.
Listen, Harrison, the last time I had you on air, we were scheduled for like 12 to 15 minutes. By the time you were done, you didn't get off in 45 minutes. I'm up against a break. Is there any way that I can impose on you to hang in there with us, and can we keep you for a few more minutes? I'll give you one more segment, and then I got some laundry to do. You're the best.
Been there and done that, brother.
Listen, you are listening to The Dawn Show. Barry Sable and friends with Peter Mimo sitting in. We will see you on the other side of the break.
In a world filled with financial information, Citizens can help you make sense of it. So whether you're listening to that new financial podcast that's hotter than your morning coffee, flipping through that financial guru's 1,000-page book on simple finances, or getting tips from a coworker that actually sound kind of interesting, you're ready to make the most of it. Make sense of your money with Citizens. Learn more at citizensbank.com/made-ready.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/gutter to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/gutter for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Tune into a special edition of Your Radio Doctor with Dr. Marianne Ritchie this Saturday morning at 8. Get the latest information on news affecting your health and wellness. Your Radio Doctor at a special time this Saturday, November 30th at 8 a.m.
Hi, this is Joe Mederchik, PNC Bank Regional President. People ask us, is PNC just a boring bank? Well, that depends. Is starting a business boring or being the first person in your family to go to college? For nearly 160 years, we've done the hard and occasionally boring work of banking to deliver brilliant results to our clients. To see what boring banking can do for you, stop into any of our local branches right here in the greater Philadelphia community. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Don't miss a special edition of the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by the Labor and Energy Alliance, this Saturday, November 30th at noon. Find out about the important issues that'll affect you. The Labor and Energy Show at a special time, this Saturday at noon.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-511-3535. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider, 800-511-3535. That's 800-511-3535. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-511-3535.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Yes, indeedy, we are back. Barry Sable sitting in for Dawn with my special guest, Harrison Fields. Harrison, thanks for hanging in there with me. Pam Bondi, you worked for her. What impressed you about her, and what are your thoughts on how effective she's going to be going forward? Do I still have Harrison, or is he gone?
I think we lost Harrison.
We better not have lost her.
But
I'm here.
Oh, are you there?
Great.
Okay.
We didn't hear you for a second,
Yeah.
Harrison. We're very worried about that. You said you
I
were
didn't
doing the
hear you
laundry.
guys.
Yeah,
If it's anything like my laundry room, you can get lost in there.
Yeah, Peter does laundry on
God.
Monday nights. You can't talk to him. He's the only guy that does laundry for 3 hours, and he has 2 pair of underwear and a T-shirt to wash. Listen, Harrison, I don't know if you heard my question, so I'll repeat it. You did work with Pam Bondi. What impressed you about her, and what do you expect from her? I know she's a tough cookie, and I'll be honest with you, I think in America today, we need tough love. Explain to our listeners your thoughts on her.
Well, Pam is an amazing person. Personally, we've become friends, know her family well, amazing woman. But professionally, she is a rock star. She is a no-holds-bar type of woman. She's been a prosecutor for pretty much her entire career, and she's taken on actual enterprises. You look at the human trafficking, the pill mills. She even went after dog racing in Florida. This is a woman who takes it to the courtroom. The judges respect her. The defense attorneys respect her. DAs respect her. And she was an incredible attorney general for the state of Florida for 8 years, the first female to hold that role. Incredible woman. And she's very, very strong on the issues. And she's very loyal to the president. I mean, she shares the president's vision when it comes to his second term, when it comes to, ending the opioid crisis, when you talk about the border. And she's not going to go after Catholics. I mean, she is a woman of faith as well. She's not going to go after Christians for exercising their faith.
Yes.
She's not going to go over and lock up parents at PTA meetings. So it's going to be a very, very big upgrade from Merrick Garland. And she understands how to, to operate a massive agency. Her administration as Attorney General was big. She had a lot of DAs across the state of Florida. So she knows what she's doing. She's going to be very, very aggressive. She's going to be in lockstep with the president. and she's going to support the rule of law, which is a big change from what we have now.
Hey, Harrison, watching the TV, I see that she's already being attacked on some of these, let's say, liberal news sites and TV stations. And then I was thinking, I can't remember a Republican nominee for AG that wasn't attacked. So apparently she must be a pretty darn good selection.
Yeah.
If the left hates you, I think that's a good thing. So that's usually my barometer for success. Like, if the Democrats don't like me, then I'm doing something right. But you do have some honest Democrats. Benjamin Crump, who I think is a slip and fall attorney, who represents a lot of these racially divisive cases, he's come out and said, I had an interaction with Pam Bondi when it came to a young black kid who was killed in the correctional facility, and she fought for justice and got justice for this young black kid who died in the hands of a correctional officer. And he said, based on my experience, she's qualified. She did the job well. She was a professional. And, so you do have some Democrats out there that realize that she is qualified for the job, no doubt about it. But, a stand-up professional who's done the job of prosecuting. And take that, I don't want to go too long, but take that and you compare that to Kamala Harris. She held the same role as Attorney General, and she was, talking about she went after all these transnational gangs and all these other people. Meanwhile, she was completely absent when it came to the border crisis in which she was presiding over. Yep. So Pam Bondi has a record of success in Florida, and she's going to take that record and not change her policies for the sake of politics. She's going to be just as aggressive as she was in Florida now on a national stage.
Hey, how about some political forecasting? What do you think about the nominees? Is Hegsteth getting in? Is Gabbard getting in? What are your feelings on that? And I know the jury's still out on it, but you being so close to politics in D.C., we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yep.
Yeah, so, if you're ever a forecaster in politics, you'll probably lose a job because most people are wrong. So I don't want to lose my job in saying that, we have
there's only about 40,000 people listening right now, so I'd be a little concerned too.
Right, but if I can judge it based off of what I've seen, it seems like Pete Hegseth and Tulsi Gabbard have kind of shaken some of the fears from the Lisa Murkowskis and the Susan Collins of the world. I think one of the biggest things that Pete has on his side is that he's going to de-wokeify the military, and he's going to prioritize what is the sole goal of the United States military, which is to be the strongest and most lethal force in the world. So you talk about a guy who has a stellar military career, went to Harvard, went to Yale, extremely qualified when it comes to military operations. I think behind closed doors, Lindsey Graham came out and said that he had a very settling conversation with Pete. So I think he's going to be great. And then you look at Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard, she was a beloved person in the Democratic Party until she became a Republican. So if the Democrats can just hold the same esteem that they had for her when she was on their side, now that she's a Republican, she should be fine. And all this talking points about Russian stooge and whatever, it's actually pretty offensive for someone who actively is serving in the armed services and the reserves. If she was truly a Russian stooge or, some apologist for Syria, you would have think she would have been dishonorably discharged from the military and maybe even court-martialed, and that didn't happen. So the fear-mongering is ridiculous. People love Tulsi. She's a great, qualified woman to be DNI, and I think she'll get by just fine.
Listen, Harrison, you know how I always switch gears on you. There, to me, was a lot of forthright actions. I would even almost call it corruption over the last 4 years. A lot of things that took place that are so questionable. How do you foresee this administration going and investigating? There's a lot of people that are concerned that Trump is going to turn over the dead bodies and find them all. Any thoughts on that?
Well, President Trump's going to have his hands full. I mean, you're talking about a world that is literally on the brink of World War III. You have a border that needs to be secure. You have millions of deportations, an economy that needs to get back on track. You got to, uproot some of the rot and bloat amongst our agencies, which DOJ is going to do. But I think part of the administration, I'm not sure where, DOJ, maybe a special new government organization or advisor is going to look into this. But there is a lot of corruption. There is a lot of taking advantage of these government roles that, both sides have really done. And I think President Trump is probably going to shine a light onto some of this stuff. Listen, he understands what Washington is. Having served as president, and then the 4 years he was gone, he had the weight of Washington trying to put him in jail for the rest of his life. So I think there's a lot of people that are very, very concerned about the government's weaponization. And I think between the trifecta and the House, the Senate, and the White House, they are going to restore a lot of our bureaucracy that has run amok. So nothing to preview as per se policies or, an actual plan. But it's definitely something that the president has talked about on the trail. He wants the government to work for we the people again, and not for the small minority of elites in Washington and New York that truly hate Republicans. They hate conservatives, and they've done everything in the last 4 years to try to lock us up and shut us up.
Well, I hear you. The point I was trying to make is holding people accountable. Fauci lied. Mayorkas told us the border was closed, lied. Garland, oh, my God, I don't even want to talk about him. To me, I think sooner or later you have to hold people accountable. I know it's uncomfortable. I know that the press and everybody is going to balk. I just feel you cannot let these people get away with murder, if that's what you want to say. It's really insulting what they did to Trump, and to the point where his life was in danger not once but twice. So, I don't know. I know Peter and we go back and forth with this. He says it's time to move on. We have much to accomplish. But I think before you do that, and as well as moving forward, you have to look in the mirror and say, this is what you did over here. You're not allowed to do that anymore.
I have a very important question for Harrison, getting our priorities in the proper order that they should be. If I remember correctly, Harrison was a Giants fan. Is that correct, Harrison?
Yeah, he promised to come up and watch a football game.
And you guys couldn't find a place to use Saquon Barkley, special teams, kicker, anything, kickoff returns. You couldn't.
Anything.
Couldn't find a home for that guy.
Huh.
It was my gift to the city of Philadelphia. You're welcome.
This guy's the next Jim Brown, for God's sakes. He's unbelievable.
He looks good. I hate that he went to the Eagles, but I'm happy for him. Because everyone loves him. I have a jersey with his name on it. So I like him as a person. I wish he would have went to any other team but the Eagles. But to see a good player have the opportunity to shine as a lover of football and sports, you got to put your personal animus aside and say, you're happy for Saquon.
Yeah, he's something special, isn't he?
Listen,
he really is.
Listen,
he
Peter,
is.
I put him on the spot. I really didn't get an answer. You switched gears on me pretty
I went
good.
to our priorities. Football.
He helped me out. He lent me a line, but I don't evade many questions. And all I can say is because the president is still outlining a lot of what he's going to do in the first term, and it truly isn't going to be about retribution. When he says my retribution is success, I think he truly believes that. But he also is very cognizant of the fact that the beast around him, which is the federal bureaucracy with the DOJ and a lot of our intel agencies, there needs to be a lot of cleanup. So I think a lot of the people that are putting into these positions do have that mandate to clean it up, and we'll just have to see what that looks like. And it's really not for him. It's not to get back at the people that really made his life a living hell. It's really to make the government work better for America.
Listen,
I agree 100%.
Listen, I don't want you coming in and lying to Congress. I don't care who you are. You work for the public. You get paid in tax dollar money, and you're not allowed to evade the truth. And that's how I feel about all these people. Before I leave you go, we're up against the break. Will the D.C. press room see Harrison Fields?
Oh, wow. That's a good question.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. Nothing to announce yet, but I know it's being led by a dear friend, Caroline Levitt.
Yes.
She's going to be a phenomenal press secretary. She's still building out her team. If she looked at me and, wanted me to – because remember, we worked together in the first time around. So she wanted to get the gang back together. If the opportunity was right, it's always a pleasure to serve for the president and for the country. So no news to report now, but Caroline is going to do amazing. Whatever team she brings up that President Trump supports is going to be an all-star team. However I can help, whether it's on the inside or the outside, is where I'll be. But nothing to report. But Barry, you already know. You'll get the inside scoop.
Yes. Listen,
Thank you so much.
You never refuse me. You were always there for me. I want you to know if you and the wife need a night out, Uncle Barry is willing to come down there for babysitting duties. It's proud not only to say that you're my friend, but it's proud to say that you are on the ball all the time, and I love you for impressing upon people the right things to do in this country. It means so
Thank
much.
you. You just have to go through the vetting of my retired NYPD detective mother. She's got some high standards.
Listen, I'm up
Thank you,
against the
sir.
break. Thanks for being there for me. Thank you so much, my friend.
Merry Christmas. Take care.
You too, my brother. You are listening to The Dawn Show. Barry Sable sitting in for Dawn. We will see you on the other side of the break.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Listen, I'll be honest with you. I want to hold people. We're back. Oh, my lordy. Look what the wind blew in. My next guest in studio is professor at Drexel University, teaching courses on global business policies, international fundamentals, competitive intelligence, and so much more. I don't even know what all that means, but he's going to explain it to me. Besides this, has a list of credentials that would take a lifetime to list. An author of a book called Brutal Minds, 2 other books, and writing a 4th, Stanley Ridgely. Welcome in studio with Barry Sable and friends. Did I pronounce your name right? Because last time it was Wrigley, Ridgeland. It was 100. I hope I got it right.
You got it right, Barry. It's a
There
pleasure
you
to
go.
be here with you and Peter.
Thank you.
Live in the studio, live and ready to thrive.
Yes. So, my friend, tell me, let's just start 13 seconds. How was Thanksgiving for you?
Oh, it was fantastic. I spent Thanksgiving with my loving wife, Lori, and we gave thanks for the many blessings that we have received over actually over our lifetime, but certainly in the last, couple of weeks, as we see our country is righting the ship, and we're all of us, you, me, and all of our fellow American citizens are going in the right direction. I think we're rowing together, and we're looking for a wonderful year to come.
Yes. So, listen, let me start right away with you. I know I have you for the next hour. So, Peter, I don't know where he wandered to. I guess he went to the men's room. He'll be back. The presidential election has generated a lot of hope that we can restore American power. This means prosperity at home, peace abroad. What does that mean to you, Stanley?
Oh, well, my goodness. The first administration of President Trump was absolutely phenomenal with respect to peace and prosperity. No new wars, ending of a war that they inherited, destroying the ISIS. And I think that we're going to find a continuation of the policies that he bequeathed to us back in when he left office in 2020. During this unfortunate interlude of the last 4 years, we were exposed to a lot of the bad things that can happen when you get the wrong kinds of people in power. Now, we really don't know who was calling the shots in the Biden-Harris White House.
Who's calling it right now? Man,
that's what I'm talking about.
She was in Hawaii. He's on the beach, even though it's probably 40 degrees outside. I mean, come on.
It's like we have a shadow government. Everyone who's seen Biden in the last at least year knows that he's not calling the shots. We were treated to a heavy dose of Kamala Harris in the last, say, 3 months, and we know that she's not calling the shots. So that leaves, we look at the young people that they've surrounded themselves with, Jake Sullivan, people like that, Anthony Blinken, folks who seem really out of their depth with regard to the jobs that they've been given. So that remains to be seen. Who has been in charge?
But you know what's interesting to me? These are bright people, Stanley.
Yeah.
These are not people, can I tell you something, that shining shoes,
You're
can
right.
I tell you something, on desolate street for people that are passerbys. These are people that have resumes that were pretty good. What was really the motive of this last 4 years? We all know that they wanted to take power and switch the fabric of this country, and they were on the way. But my question to you is, what are these people thinking? Are they that evil, Stanley?
Well, I think that a lot of it has to do with the same type of phenomenon we find on the college campus, where a lot of like thinkers or group thinkers have certain prejudices and certain beliefs that are never challenged. and they're certainly not challenged by dwelling in the real world close to the ground where you and I live.
Yeah.
And where the average American lives, having to buy groceries, having to meet a budget, having to make decisions that affect their livelihood.
Yep.
Now, these people we're talking about in the White House, of course, the decision makers, are living in that kind of quasi-academic bubble where their belief system is never challenged.
Yeah.
They don't have any kind of check on the fake reality in which they live and the decisions that they're making that are based on theory,
Yes.
not based on any kind of comprehension of the reality in which we all live. They're basing their decisions on theory, critical theory about collectivism, theory about economics, theory about a national defense, the idea of soft power rather than wielding the big stick. And we find a succession of disastrous results from these policy prescriptions time after time after time.
Interesting question.
Yeah.
What would have happened in your mind if these people held power for the next 4 years? Where would this country have been?
Well, I can tell you that we would have, just from looking at from issue by issue, the southern border, you'd see an escalation of the border crisis. I think that the tamping down, or so to speak, what Biden said, the tamping down of the crossings of the lower border, that was just for politics' sake and optics of the situation. We'd see an increase. We'd see a return to massive increase of immigration by lots of people who do not wish this country well.
Yes.
I do not believe that the people in charge really wish this country well in the sense that they are really for what they call democracy. They're not for democracy. They never have been. They're not trying to save our democracy. They never were. I'll give you an example. Exhibit A is we got the results of this democracy that they wanted to save, and that is a new president with a new spirit of patriotism
Yes.
and America first, serving American citizens. We got that, and we find nothing but recriminations, no second thoughts, no self-assessment by the Democrats, just a doubling down on the failed policies that were driving them throughout the election and have been driving them for the last 4 years.
Stanley, I know that you have a career that's illustrious. Obviously, you're at Drexel now. We didn't even. I could keep you in studio for the next month and a half, but I really want to get to your wheelhouse. So let me start with, where am I? A lot depends on the education of our youth, both in secondary schools and in college. To your mind, what does the new Trump administration mean for education in America? And do we have a reason to be optimistic?
Well, I think that number one, I think we do have reason to be optimistic, wildly optimistic, given the direction, actually, given the new issues that are now on the table for discussion, issues that were verboten, that were forbidden, we weren't able to discuss DEI and its debilitating effect on higher education, on business, and in the government. We weren't able to discuss the fact that universities with multi-billion-dollar endowments, Harvard with its $50 billion endowment, tax exempt, fostering these loans that make it very difficult for students to pay back, and the universities taking no responsibility or accountability for fostering those kinds of loans and that increased debt, that incredible amount of debt that students graduate with. I think we're going to look at that really hard. We're going to find the Trump administration, through various levers of power, are going to take a hard look at the administrations of the major universities, both private and state, and say, you guys receive a lot of government funding, grants, that kind of thing, and yet you seem really recalcitrant in obeying or serving and remaining compliant with federal law, civil rights law.
Yep.
An incredible recalcitrance in enforcing your own regulations, as we saw back this last spring.
Yep.
And we also saw the resignation of the presidents of Harvard University and the University of Pennsylvania right here in Philadelphia, because these presidents were unable to articulate any kind of moral stance with regard to the unrest, the chaos, the vandalism, the assaults on their own campuses. And the type of bureaucratic answers that they gave that were crafted by their lawyers, as if they were in the courtroom, did not resonate well with Elise Stefanik, who held their feet to the fire, and it certainly didn't resonate with the American people. And we got to see the average people got to see firsthand the basically the how these presidents act like weasels when they're trying to be held to account.
Peter,
Now,
I know
Dr. Ridgely, I wanted to follow up on that.
Go ahead.
Because, you're talking about education and the universities. That's exactly what the book is about, Brutal Minds. And I wanted to take you into the book for something that we talk about on the show all the time. Diversity is our strength. You recognize immediately that the vapid Orwellian slogan, diversity is our strength, could serve as a proxy for a communist propaganda trope. The demand that persons embrace this trope, or at least remain silent in the face of its anti-intellectualism, is a marker for an authoritarian system, one of the many markers that constitutes powerful evidence of the thesis in this book. And I also want to continue. These bureaucrats may not be intellectuals, but they are not stupid. They outsmart the faculty in the same way the hedgehog outsmarts the fox. And increasing numbers of them have their hands on the levels of power. Their goal is to boldly transform the university into an instrument of ideological propaganda for the nation's young people. As Havel, who did great work, reminds us, this is a place where people are forced to live within the lie. And isn't that exactly what you're talking about?
Well, I think so. I couldn't have
That's
said
right
that.
out of your book, by the way.
I couldn't have said that better myself. Wait a minute, I did say that. Didn't I?
That was 2 books ago,
You did say it better yourself.
Yeah,
and that's right out of the book, but I think it's so apropos
right.
to the exact thing that we're talking about.
If you're looking for something to hang your hat on, I think that this motto or this slogan of diversity is our strength, it is so vapid, so meaningless. Let me ask you a question. You hear this all the time. Have you ever heard anyone challenge that and say, well, wait a minute, no, diversity is not our strength. Competence is our strength.
Yeah.
That's our strength. We're talking about business. We're talking about the pursuit of truth. We're talking about what we do in the university. No, diversity is not our strength. Diversity is a characteristic. Diversity is a byproduct. Diversity is a peripheral issue. If we are pursuing the truth and we're doing this in a community of scholars, a community of students, and we happen to have some sort of superficial diversity of race, gender, ethnicity, that kind of thing, well, then all's the better. But if we don't have prescribed percentages of the representatives of the population, we have the population, that doesn't mean something's wrong is being done. It means that this is the result, a byproduct, if you will, of a particular pursuit of activity. That
and we've covered that on this show.
Yeah.
Diversity is our strength. Why never any pushback? To me, diversity is a challenge. Ask the Tower of Babel how they did with diversity. If you're not on the same page with values, diversity is a big challenge. It's not a strength. So, I just never understood that. It's one of those mendacious comments that they make.
It certainly is. And the Havel that you mentioned that came out of the book was Václav Havel, who was a playwright, a communist. He was a dissident against the communists in the Czechoslovakia, and became president of the Czech Republic upon the dissolution of Czechoslovakia. And he was referring to the fact that under a communist system, you are forced to embrace these kinds of slogans or mottos, workers of the world unite, that kind of thing.
Right.
And you'd best not remove the sign from your window there, and you best not say anything against it. And that, unfortunately, is where we stand with things like diversity is our strength. It's vapid, it's meaningless, and I encourage you to question it wherever you hear it, because it is meaningless, vapid, it's absurd.
Stanley, Peter, it looks like we're up against the break. You are listening to The Dawn Show. Barry Sable sitting in for Dawn. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
Could have done a better job.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Captain Kirk has returned to the studio with the flag. I get to play with it first and then everybody else. Why don't we do something where if you want to have it for a week, you have to make like a $10 donation to Travis Mannion Foundation
Oh, look
or
at
something?
you. Look at you always thinking of charity.
Right?
I like that.
I mean, not a lot. You don't have to go overboard. Just make like we'll do like a set rate, $10. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Whatever you're the boss. You figure it out. I'll go home and take a nap.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Despite the rain, hundreds of people still turned out to Center City for the Thanksgiving Day Parade. Cash's Bakery in South Philly had a line out the door early this morning with customers looking to have their turkeys baked in the brick oven. And Philadelphia had record high tourism numbers over the summer.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Free speech in Philly on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. 1210 WPHT.
Indeed, we are back. Barry Sable and friends sitting in for Dawn. We are so appreciative, Dawn, that you allowed us to take your seat. I hope you're having a great day off. In studio with me is Stanley Ridgely. Peter, let's continue our dialogue. We cut off because of a break, and then I have some questions for Stanley.
Well, it's just another chapter in the book which covers that. These exhortations serve less to motivate the faithful than to identify the unfaithful.
Right.
So that's a very profound statement because they already know who they got in their back pocket. They're worried about the guys that say, well, diversity's not our strength, right? Or some similar thing that they're disagreeing with.
Right. And these folks who question this type of thing, folks like myself, are automatically identified as resistors. This is the word they use. We're demonstrating resistance. We're not simply disagreeing and making a cogent point of argumentation. They don't admit to this. They don't want to argue. They don't want to discuss.
Yes.
They simply want to lecture and to hold accountable folks who may not agree with the doctrine. And I like the fact that you zeroed in on that quote. It's not for the faithful. It is to identify those who are unfaithful for extra special treatment.
Yep.
And this is particularly true with college students. And they use this type of test, if you will, to identify college students who are pretty much recalcitrant and don't want to accept what they're being served up with regard to these types of ideological points that are basically problematic, as they like to say, highly questionable, contentious issues, but they want students to accept them as received truth.
Now, Doc, you mentioned the universities and you mentioned the three hearings that we saw on Capitol Hill where Ms. Stefanik, who I'm really going to miss her in the House, but she's going to the United Nations.
We need her, Peter.
But we saw these university presidents testify in Congress, and they were so out of touch with reality, with common sense. And it led me back to what I call the communism effect. How long have these anti-Western doctrines been shared in the schools? It's got to be because now you have the university presidents that had to be taught that during their educational system. And how long will it take to root that out? because they're so out of touch. It reminds me of the Bud Light girl. She walked into her boss and said, I got this great idea for Bud Light. He said, oh, yeah, great idea. These people have no idea what the real world is like.
No, they don't. The Bud Light issue, that's a whole business case all on its own. I'm preparing a business case on that. Even undergraduates can look at something like that and say, this is utterly absurd.
But these university presidents are in the same line, kind of, right?
Well,
being that out of touch.
And you know what's interesting to me, Stanley? I watch Charlie Kirk. He's on the move. Candace Owens, they're on college campuses all the time. And I look at the questions that these college students have for these people, and I just shake my head. And that leads me to my next question. You know, you talk about the university as it's an ideological minefield for college students. What does that mean exactly to you? What are the dangers? Who are the culprits? And I'll compound that with, what can a high school graduate expect when he goes off to a college for the first time? Can you give me examples? What is brainwashing? What does it look like, and how does all this work? I'm going into the hallway. I'm going to grab my putter and putt. You guys talk for 10 minutes, and I'll be back.
Well, that's a complex question, and I'm going to unpack it bit by bit, stage by stage.
Good.
College students are, they enter college, I should say, and with a certain expectations, and those expectations are usually wrong. And the idea, probably perpetuated by well-meaning parents, is that you're going to enter an arena where it's a marketplace of ideas, where ideas can contend and open discussion, and may the best idea win. And we're going to dismiss bad ideas. We're going to embrace good ideas. We're going to take it. We're going to hold it to the light, see how the light glints off the facet.
Yep.
But that's not what college students are going to face. They're going to face rather an ideological crucible where left-wingers, and I say left-winger progressives, I'm talking about the administration, I'm talking about the bureaucracy and certain faculty, are going to present leftist doctrine as received truth. And this is not something that I have contrived or made up. I mean, Frederick Jameson, who was one of the most thoroughly schooled Marxist theorists, self-described Marxist theorists, said that the purpose of college is to prepare cadres for the struggles of the future. Now, that's a very anti-Enlightenment view. Enlightenment views, we want to embrace logic, reason, progress, humane values, exploration of truth wherever it may lead us.
Right.
That is not what these left-wingers, progressives on campus believe. They believe that they have discovered the truth, and it is their job to convey that truth and to overcome what they call student resistance.
This has been there for a long time.
Yes,
how long is it going to take for us to kind of unwind it?
Well, let me tell
unwind
you,
it.
There's a misconception that this is, we've always faced this. Well, no, we haven't. We've always had the issue of left-wing faculty in the college campuses, and pretty much these are good people. They have.
Are they? Are they good people?
I think that I know some of them, and I think that they really believe what they're doing. I'm not referring to the ones who utilize their classroom as a bully pulpit to foist their particular political ideology on students. The English professor who believes that he or she is qualified to talk politics rather than talk composition with students. And I've seen these people as well. People send me Zoom sessions where an English professor is trying to indoctrinate his students and attack his students for being, say, Trump supporters, that kind of thing. No, I'm referring to the environment on the college campus that is dominated by, is 12-1, liberals to conservatives. That's been documented by Samuel Abrams at Sarah Lawrence College. That they create a milieu where students are messaged 24/7 on this type of received truth, this critical consciousness. This is why students who have come home for the Thanksgiving holidays, right now, seem so angry with their parents.
And they are, boy.
Yes.
They
Parents
come back
have their hands
angry,
full, don't they, Peter?
Yeah, and Dennis Prager always says, and I'm sure you're aware of who Dennis Prager is, that when you send your kids away to college, you're playing Russian roulette with their values.
Yeah.
And you see that with some of the kids that come back with, where do you get these ideas from? Like, where did you get them? I have a saying on the show that I say a lot is, you go to college to get stupid, and the better the school is, the more dumb you come out. Now, I don't mean that literally, but that's right in line with what you're talking about, where you get these ideas, this indoctrination, this brainwashing, this constant drumbeat of these progressive ideas, and then they have an effect.
Gentlemen,
after a period
these
of
are
time.
the future leaders of our country, and when they graduate college with this kind of chip on their shoulder. My God, I mean, how detrimental is this for our country? To me, they're changing the fabric of what we believe in, boys. I mean, I'm a simpleton, as you guys know. I'm sitting here listening to both of you converse. I'm concerned, deeply concerned about our future, Stanley.
Let me tell you, the whole thesis of Brutal Minds, which is the book we're talking about here, is that there are people on the college campus who mean you ill. And I'm referring to you, I mean students.
Right.
And they believe that they're doing good. They're doing, if not God's work, they're certainly doing Paulo Freire and Karl Marx's work.
Yep.
And this is to bring students into the light. And they refer to this as critical consciousness. Now, this used to be known as class consciousness, but they've changed it and updated it for the 21st century to incorporate race and gender and along with class. They call it critical consciousness. Now, this is the idea that there is a central received truth. And this is what students are basically deceived into to believing that they have been ushered into the province of those who know.
Yep.
They have now become anointed. And they certainly have achieved this critical consciousness where they can peer into the contradictions in society, the relationships of power and privilege, race and gender.
Stanley,
it's all nonsense.
Simple. Our parents are handing off the minds of our kids to people to educate them. And the things that are coming out of these teachers' classrooms is astounding to me, Peter.
It's actually a modified Communist Manifesto message from Marx.
That's
because in this country, he always wanted revolution. He always wanted the lower class to overthrow the proletariat, to overthrow the upper class. But in this country, the middle class is too big. You can't have that type of revolution because a guy's got a car payment, 2 kids in college, a good job.
Yep.
So it's hard to get, our middle class is too big to develop that. So they have to develop this divisiveness through the educational system. Do you see that, Dr. Ridgely?
Well, I certainly do. But more important, I think, is the edifice or the hierarchy or the establishment of an instrument of coercion and of DEI. Now, this is a parallel structure in the university hierarchy. It's a separate hierarchy of DEI officers that are very similar to the political officers we saw in the old Soviet Union, the commissar system of officers that are there to look at, perceive, monitor faculty and staff to ensure political loyalty. If you're looking for an example, because this may be an alien concept for your listenership, I'll give you the answer.
Please.
Go to the movie, The Hunt for Red October, if you want to see an example of a political officer and what that political officer does. Wow. You know that Sean Connery was going to defect to the United States with his submarine, but there was one person on board that he had to neutralize, and that was the political officer, because the political officer was there to monitor the political loyalty of the crew. And so that guy, you knew he was going to have a short role in the movie.
Huh? Yeah.
Go look at that film, and you'll see the modern DEI commissary at work.
Listen, boys, we're up against the break. Time is flying by, Peter.
It is, Uncle Barry, and we are in the weeds with Dr. Ridgely. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
You're getting an education today.
Put my thinking cap on. I mean, I need a dictionary and a thesaurus to figure out what you guys are talking about.
Time to cut those weeds. Time to cut those weeds.
We are up against the break. You are listening to The Dawn Show. Barry Sable sitting in for Dawn. When we come back, we will be talking to Joseph Pooter. We will see you on the other side of the break.
So when I read the comments...
You may have heard, Wawa has pizza. And right now, Wawa has pizza at a really great price.
Wawa has personal pizza for a night of gaming.
And it's only $6.
Wawa has pizza for when we don't want to cook.
And a 14-inch is $8.
Wawa has pizza for after practice.
A 16-inch to feed the team, $10. Right now, get a personal 14 or 16-inch Wawa pizza for just $6, $8, or $10. Wawa has pizza for all at a really great price.
Upgrade your bathroom with Emmons Remodeling.
We offer custom design, build, renovation services to fit your style and budget. Our designers work closely with you to create the perfect space for you and your family.
Experience luxury and functionality with the expert team at Emmons.
So call us at 856-885-6677. Again, that's 856-885-6677, or visit us at callemmons.com. From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210.
Drier conditions return to the forecast this afternoon as a cold front moves through. It will turn breezy with a high around 54. Behind the cold front, a cold air mass moves in tonight, partly cloudy with a low 36. And for Friday, partly sunny, breezy and cold with a high 47.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at St. Albert the Great Church on Welsh Road in Huntington Valley, Saturday, January 11th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
Don't miss The Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
Wawa's hot turkey is back, and it's bringing the comforting flavors of the season with it. Sink into savory stuffing, cozy up with sweet cranberry sauce, and relax into some warm, buttery mashed potatoes. Grab your pillows and blankets because hot turkey is back. Plus, get your cozy cravings satisfied from the comfort of your bed with $0 delivery when you order on the Wawa app. Try the Wawa Gobbler today in a hoagie or bowl for a limited time. Gotta have a Wawa.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-511-3535. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-511-3535. 800-511-3535 or biglou.com.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, we've grown by offering our clients more offices, more lawyers, and recovering more than $20 billion. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Yes, indeedy, Barry Sable sitting in for my friend Dawn. Gentlemen, I have Peter Mimo and Dr. Ridgely with me. Gentlemen, we have a call. Joseph Puder is the founder and director of the Interfaith Task Force for American and Israel and is a columnist for American Thinker magazine and Jewish News Syndicate. Previous columnist at the Philadelphia Bulletin. You remember the Bulletin, don't you, Peter?
I love the Bulletin. You came out at 4.
And Front Page Magazine. Joseph, happy belated thanks for waiting and holding on.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
How are you? How was Thanksgiving, my friend?
Very nice. Very nice. I wish you were with us.
Yes. Go ahead.
I enjoyed your conversation up to now.
All right, give us some comment on that.
Well, the comment was that you're absolutely right about, students coming in and going out, coming in one way, going out another way, not the good way.
Yeah. Well, listen, I only bring the best of the best on the Barry Sable Show with friends, whether it's for Dawn or Zioli or whoever.
Uncle
we
Barry.
don't play around over here, Joseph.
I was just happy to hear we were right about something. Yeah, that doesn't happen often. No, I'm just kidding.
Listen, before I let you, hold on one second. Before I let you sound off, because I have questions. You're an authority on Israel. Do you have any questions for Stanley or comments before we switch gears and go to Israel?
Not me. I mean, I don't have any.
There you go. Okay. Well, listen, here's my question to you. The ceasefire with Hezbollah, as we anticipated, has already been violated one day. Just hours ago, the IDF announced that it opened fire on suspects moving towards southern Lebanon, and just moments ago, an Israeli force jet struck down Hezbollah medium-range rocket facility in the area. That came out on Thursday at 12:30. Joseph, does that surprise you?
Not at all. Not at all. The fact of the matter is, and I'll put it to you in a nutshell, this deal serves the White House, or specifically President Joe Biden, because he can leave his presidency with one nearly positive achievement, and that is a ceasefire agreement that is not worth the name because it's not going to last and it's not going to have any measurable gains for anyone.
Yep.
Let me put it to you another way. The winners of this deal is certainly not Israel. The winners of this deal is Mr. Biden, who comes out with at least one achievement in a 4-year record that isn't very bright. The other winners are Hezbollah, who basically already claims victory because they withstood, allegedly, Israel. There are parades, there are candies given out in the streets of Beirut. They celebrate their victory, even though if you look at the Dahia, which is the headquarters of Hezbollah in southern Beirut, it looks like Gaza. But that, in the logic of this particular part of the world, it makes no difference. And then you have Iran, which basically says our most important asset, our most important proxy, Hezbollah, has survived. So we can applaud that, give ourselves a pat on the back.
Let me ask you a question there. Did Israel make this deal because they want to get those people back in their homes? Those people have been out of their homes for a year. Will this deal get those people back in their
Meaning
homes?
the hostages, Peter.
No,
As
I mean
well.
the people that are out of their
And
homes.
how about the hostages,
Hezbollah
Peter?
doesn't have any, so we
No,
can't
but
get
Hamas
them.
does, and
Well,
that
that's
leads
another,
to the next step.
That's another deal.
Going to get to that. I tell you, for Netanyahu, this is not a win because, number one, he's got criticism from within and without. The mayors of the cities of Metula and Kiryat Shmona and all the confrontation cities, those cities that are, or towns or kibbutzim that are along the border, are not very happy with the deal because they know that Hezbollah is going to be back. And there is no way to stop them. And because the provisions of the deal call for the Lebanese civilians that have been uprooted from their homes, and basically close to 1 million who went north, are going to come back. That's part of the deal. And among those many will be very many Hezbollah fighters.
Yep.
And there's no way the IDF can monitor every single person that comes back. And when I say we, are Israeli, of course, so it's a we, but no way that
Joseph,
we can.
I get it. I'm with you. Joseph, Stanley is sitting here. He has a question for you. Go ahead, Stanley.
Hi, Joseph. Thanks so much for your work. And you kind of addressed the issue that I was going to ask you about with regard to the Biden administration trying to take credit for a ceasefire that looks like it was imposed by the IDF by decapitating the entire Hezbollah leadership and conveying to Hezbollah that they'd best seek a ceasefire or be faced with total annihilation. Would that be a correct characterization of it?
No, not at all. I think that what you have to understand is this deal was coerced. Netanyahu was essentially coerced because Israel needs the tank shells that the United States provides and other munitions. And the deal was either you accept the ceasefire or end the diplomatic backup, backing up that the United States provides. If you don't agree with a ceasefire, that moratorium is going to go on.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of basically having to take it whether we like it or not.
Listen, Joseph, can I tell you, I'm not confident of what's going to happen in the future. Israel has been at odds, as we know, in the Middle East forever. I hope that Donald Trump could come in and stir up the pot a little differently. I hope that he's going to be able to sit down with the leaders and make them an offer basically they can't refuse. This all stems from Iran. You have to cut off the head of the snake. I'm praying that that's what he does, because all this other kind of stuff is nonsense with Hezbollah and Hamas. These people do not have honorable intentions. End of story. So what we have to... I think
you're right.
Huh?
Now listen, we're
ahead,
short
Peter.
on time. I want very important question. Netanyahu is being prosecuted by the hard left in Israel right now. They won him out before January 20th, before Trump gets in. Do you feel that if Netanyahu survives that with Trump, they will be taking out the nuclear facilities in Iran?
Well, that's certainly a possibility. And, of course, for many Israelis, January 2025 is a good day.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be a day. And many Israelis are waiting for that to happen already.
Yeah, because you're going to get the support you need.
Yep.
Yes.
Listen,
I think that...
Go ahead.
Go
I have
ahead.
30 seconds left. Go ahead, Joseph. Wrap up.
Well, I just want to say that what we have here is a problem not only for Israel, but for the United States and the Western world.
I agree.
And what I mean is that Israel was not allowed to win, a word that President Trump loves to use.
Exactly.
And the United States has not won a war since World War II, actually.
Well,
and
don't
Israel
rub it in. we're
won
aware
a
of that.
war. Israel has not won a real outright war since the Six-Day War, which, by the way, I was involved in.
God bless you.
The truth of the matter is that there's a problem for the West.
I hear you, my friend. I'm up against the break, a hard break here. I thank you, Joseph Puder. Have
Thank
a
you, sir.
belated happy Thanksgiving. We will have you back on the air again. You are listening to The Dawn Show. Barry Sable sitting in for Dawn. We will see you again on the other side of the break.
Thank you.
Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Either of you guys have your Christmas decorations up yet?
No.
You? No. It was 65 degrees yesterday.
We didn't even have fall, and we're just jumping into Christmas. I didn't even get my free turkey yet.
You need to at least wait until Thanksgiving week. Can we all just agree on that?
1,000%.
Friday or Saturday after Thanksgiving till January 1st. Then we're done. Take all your freaking decorations down.
Yeah, I typically take them down right after my birthday, January 3rd. What's the chat saying now?
Nothing. I'm just...
Is Justin in there crying?
No.
Make sure you check in this week, Justin. Tell us what we're doing wrong.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
The good and bad with home improvement projects. The good, you save a buck or two. The bad,
Kevin, there's no hot water.
so you move on to the car.
Kevin, what's with the car?
Good news, you can recover from these.
Kevin!
Well, most all of them. But when it comes to your retirement, a mistake can be devastating. Call Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group. He's been helping folks prepare for retirement for over 30 years. That's why he's able to correct your do-it-yourself problems before they're problems. Get your complimentary assessment of where you are now and look at some of the retirement boxes you haven't even thought of.
Kevin!
You can't YouTube your retirement. Call Joe Yakovich at 856-925-6674 or visit jmlfinancialgroup.com. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
I love this song! I love nachos.
Loving everything? You might be buzzed.
You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Woohoo! Another girls' night out.
I'm so stressed from shopping, I couldn't find anything.
Have you tried shopping jewelry television, JTV?
I don't know. Everyone in my family is so different.
JTV has thousands of jewelry styles, artisan, diamonds, pearls, colored gemstones, watches, even gift sets. I shop on TV and online.
New JTV customers save up to $40 when you shop jtv.com/radio.
Now, can you relax?
Yes. Another round?
Yes.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Tune in to a special edition of Your Radio Doctor with Dr. Marianne Ritchie this Saturday morning at 8. Get the latest information on news affecting your health and wellness. Your Radio Doctor at a special time this Saturday, November 30th at 8 a.m.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years.
He was in big trouble.
We're going to take your house, garnish your pay.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm.
I don't owe the IRS anymore. It was because of Optima Tax.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Actual client compensated for sharing their experience. Visit OptimaTaxRelief.com for details.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Yes, yes, yes. We are back. Barry Sable sitting in for Dawn with Peter Mimo. Our special guest, Stanley Ridgely, is here. Stanley, let me give you an opportunity. We only have you for another 5 minutes or so. So why don't you come in and kind of wrap up with all the thoughts that you've been thinking about, as you alluded to, coming on the Barry Sable Show with friends.
And thanks, Barry. I want to point out that Brutal Minds constitutes a survival manual for college students and their parents. It tells you specifically, explicitly what to expect and the techniques and the tools that these doctrinaire types, ideologues, will inflict on you. And they will engage in a psychological manipulation and behavior modification program that's designed to attack and to change your belief system, the belief system that you came to college with. They say this explicitly. I quote them chapter and verse in the book. This is not something me connecting the dots. There are no dots to connect. They say it outright. Yeah. We want to attack your belief system and give you a sense of vertigo with regard to that belief
Stanley,
system.
do you get the sense that we're preparing kids today, I call them kids because 20 years old to me as a kid, to go out in the real world and be successful? Are we arming kids for careers in law, in medicine, in all the other situations? Because I'm a little concerned. I don't know what that was. We have music, but go ahead, Stanley. Give me your thoughts.
Well, I think that by and large, colleges are in the professionals. I should say in the professions such as business, where I teach. We're certainly continuing to prepare students for the challenges of the 21st century, yes, the hostile business environment. But even there, we're finding that the infestation of DEI is taking its toll, in the sense that these are perpetrated or proffered as values, diversity, equity, and inclusion. They're not values. Yep. They're preferences. They're peripheral concerns. What we're concerned about is competence, excellence, pursuit of professionalism, the idea of utilizing logic and reason to solve problems of the 21st century.
But that's where I was heading. Yeah. When kids are graduating high school, are they going into college prepared? Or do you find that they're not prepared for college life?
Well, I'm blessed to be teaching at a school where we have a very high quality entry student population every year. And we do provide, fundamental basic preparation. The students that I work with are absolutely phenomenal in many ways. And I should say that I treat my classroom in a Max Weberian sort of way, where it's a neutral ground.
Another big word, Stanley.
Yeah, well, Max Weber was the founder of sociology, and he advocated neutrality in the classroom.
Yes.
And not use your position of authority as a bully pulpit to propound any particular ideology.
Now, Stanley, I know you got a lot of experience in education, and I wanted to back off a little bit. We've been discussing these things on an intellectual level and a little bit of a higher level. We call it in the weeds. But at a fundamental level, I have here the District of Columbia's attendance report for high school. It's actually pre-K through high school. And I want to show you a couple of numbers. And this is right off of their website. Let's just take 9 to 12 because we're tight for time. Chronic absent rate, 62%. Truancy
so
rate,
hold on, Peter.
56%.
How does anybody learn, Peter?
6 kids
yep.
are out of 10 are not attending school.
That's my point.
Now, how do you overcome that? We have all this great information in Brutal Minds, and we know exactly what we want to do. But if we're not getting kids to educate, my gosh, we're leaving an entire generation behind.
Well, I am encouraged by the growing homeschool movement. And I will tell you, a lot of parents there are over 3.8 million, I believe, homeschool kids in the United States. It's been growing rapidly ever since the COVID pandemic. And they're absolutely phenomenal kids, too, who achieve well above the average on college entry tests.
But Stanley, I'm concerned about the socialization,
Mm-hmm.
the after-school activities, all the sports, debate teams, things like that. So if you're learning at home, you don't get an opportunity for that,
Well,
do you?
You certainly do, because homeschool operations or homeschool groups throughout the 50 American states have these kinds of activities. Homeschoolers can compete in football. They can compete in field trips. It's an
whatever school
rich,
district you're in,
Right.
if you're a homeschooler, you get to play
Thank you
sports
for
on that team.
clarifying
It's
that.
an incredibly rich experience. You find that even the National Spelling Bee are dominated by homeschoolers.
Yes.
They achieve well above the average on college entry examinations, and I think that colleges, if they were inclined to really improve their enrollment of top-notch quality college students, they would tap into the homeschool market. I'm a big believer.
Yeah, and it's really growing. And another thing that I see on TV from these quote-unquote educated news journalists and news reporters, they use words like immigrant when they're really talking about illegal immigrants. We're all immigrants. We love immigrants. We don't want illegal immigrants. They say DOJ, they're worried the DOJ will be weaponized. Well, what did we just see for the last 4 years? They said Harris was loyal to Biden. Wow, if that's loyalty, I'd hate to see disloyalty. But they do this constantly on TV, and no one ever pushes back and says, well, you mean illegal immigrants, not people that are coming through Ellis Island.
George Orwell told us, that he who controls language controls reality.
That's right.
And we find that the left and Mayorkas has tried to change, even right now, I think lately, he is, today, he was saying that we want to use the term immigrant. Not a non-documented immigrant, undocumented, not illegal immigrant. We're talking about illegal aliens. That's the official legal term for those who are in this country illegally. And so we have to be really cognizant of the language and who is controlling the language, and not adopt these metaphors, the euphemisms that the left has introduced into our discourse.
Yeah, it's like denial mendacity. They don't. It's a lie without actually perpetrating the entire lie. It's a lie of omission.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that really bothers me to see these people continually on TV that say these things, but nobody ever pushes back on it,
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because people start thinking that way. Like you said, Plato said a long time ago, he who controls the narrative controls the people, which is the same exact thing as Orwell said, which is really, really true.
Stanley, where do you think colleges are going? Do you think that this administration is going to take away funds from things that they're doing that just are not in the best interest of America?
Well, I think we've always had the power of the purse exerting some sort of control over the colleges and universities. I think that the power of the purse is going to be an effective weapon to hold colleges and universities accountable with respect to how their money is spent, how they treat their students, whether they discriminate illegally or not.
Yep.
And if they're found to discriminate illegally, I think you're going to see an administration that is much more ready to withdraw those funds, to call those funds into question. And I think the important point is that these issues are now on the table for discussion.
Yep.
And it's been so great being here with Dr. Ridgely today.
Yep.
I've enjoyed his book, Brutal Minds. You want to get into the weeds of what's going in our colleges and universities and what's really fueling these protests. A lot of that is contained in there, and I hope the listeners get a chance to either review the book or get a learning experience about our discussion today.
Stanley, 30 seconds. Give me your last thoughts.
Well, my last thought, I'm just delighted to be here on the day after Thanksgiving. We're feeling so blessed, both me and my wife, our family, and the future of our country.
She's involved with Liberty and not Liberty and Prosperity.
Moms for Liberty.
Moms for Liberty.
Boy,
I
you
tried
guys
to
had
get
a
her
great,
in here.
great
Peter,
thing down here this year in Philadelphia, right? With the protests and the message.
My wife was involved in those protests.
She was shy. She wouldn't come in, but we're going to get her.
Let's get her in here.
Well, she was in the face of those protesters and not backing down.
Yeah, she's got a message to put out, so let's get her in here.
Exactly. Listen, Stanley, I very much appreciate you coming in. Peter, give me your last thoughts.
My last thoughts are how much fun we had the past 2 days.
Yes.
How much work goes into a little radio show. I had no idea there's that big machine behind the scenes that are making it all work. It's been great being here with you guys, and I hope that our listeners got a little bit of a learning experience about what we talked about today. God bless America, and happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, a few things. We are preempted, Peter, for Sunday, so it looks like you're playing golf. For football, we will not be on the air. We have another 30 seconds. Let me say this much to the both of you. I find that the harder I work, the more luck I seem to have. Dream big and dare to fall. To all of our guests today, Stanley Ridgely, obviously Harrison was terrific, and Seth Grossman. How about that, Peter? Calling in from Argentina. We had Beth Sawyer. Who did I miss? Joseph Pooter. I guess I had them all. I want to thank Dawn for allowing us to sit in for her. Have a great weekend. Go Eagles. We will see you in a few weeks.
Give me your Trump dance.
That's
There you go.
exactly
God
right.
bless you.
Thanks for listening.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Ready, set, go. On the holiday shopping season, which thanks to Thanksgiving appearing later on the calendar this year than usual, means fewer shopping days and a compressed spending blitz. The earliest indicator is encouraging to retailers. Adobe Analytics says U.S. online spending Thanksgiving Day increased 8.8% from last year's Thanksgiving, reaching $6.1 billion. President-elect Trump's threats of import tariffs next year